Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today's Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. Well, welcome to the community update call. We'll start with the Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Scar, good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Olson, good morning.
Good morning, I'm here.
Wonderful. We will jump right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and President Eric Swanson.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
So 8 patients in the hospital today. Ambulance crews did 491 transports yesterday. No transfers and no transports home. There's 123 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon, 7 more than yesterday. 379 patients who are ready to be discharged but have no place to go. That's 1 more than yesterday. This week is National Hospital Week, which is an opportunity to highlight our hospitals, health systems, and healthcare workers and the innovative ways they're supporting and connected to our communities. And just for a little history, National Hospital Day was created in 1921 as a way to encourage trust in hospitals in the wake of the Spanish flu outbreak of 1918. And later it was turned into a week in 1953, coinciding with Florence Nightingale's birthday, to honor her role in revolutionizing hospital care in the mid-1800s. So we have all kinds of celebrations for our staff this week. Yesterday we served them breakfast. Today is Tuesday Tea, where we serve for about 3 hours. We serve high tea to all of our staff that want to participate. We've got a wellness event tomorrow. We're going to make a Daisy Award nurse award in the morning. And Thursday, there's some popcorn, and we have floats on Friday. So we have a big week celebrating all of our amazing healthcare workers. And I just thought I'd tell you all about Hospital Week. So with that, I'm going to jump off the call unless you have questions for me.
Thank you, Eric. Do we have questions for Eric? Well, thanks for the report on Hospital Week. We are certainly grateful for everyone who works in our hospital here in Tillamook, and I have very fond memories of Hospital Week from when I worked at Adventist Health, and the organization does an outstanding job of recognizing people and who work in the hospital and uplifting people, and it really was a joyful occasion every week. So thanks for letting us know, and thanks for continuing the tradition of honoring people who take care of us when we're sick.
Absolutely. And, if you want, we can reserve a place for you for tea today.
Oh, well, that is very tempting. Thank you very much.
Let me know, and we can make it happen. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. Well, let's jump into the Coastal Caucus. Do we have Senator Weber with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can.
Good morning. What a beautiful day again.
Truly.
I hope that the wind doesn't decide to whip us to death. My poor fuchsia on the back porch is really taking it. Oh, I feel sorry for it. Anyway, I've had to bring it in the house.
Oh, that is bad.
Yeah. Well, I've had a busy week and done a lot of work for the district. One of the highlights of the week last week was, of course, the Economic Summit on Wednesday of last week at Chinook Winds. There were in excess of 200 people there, and we had riveting presentations and conversations about economic development, renewable energy, especially wind and the ocean, workforce and fisheries, aquaculture, disaster preparedness, and of course, the other things that we are constantly talking about: infrastructure, housing, and all those related things, healthcare. it was a really productive day. In fact, I didn't even realize until I went outside what kind of a nice day it was, because we'd been inside and busy all day long. And I have to tell you that Parker Salmons was there from the housing coordinator for Tillamook County, and I got to meet with him and have some really good discussions, and he did a fantastic job in his presentation on his panel. So we're very fortunate to have Parker join us in our community, and he's doing fantastic work. So kudos to him. I also had all of my task force work last week with substitute teachers working towards, what we're doing is we're gathering so much information, because we have substitute teachers that are hired by districts, and then we have contract agencies who are also doing it for the state, and then we also have the ESDs. And so being able to bring all of those things together and understand how that can work for our state is some challenging work, because not all things are equal everywhere, and that needs to be brought into, so that substitutes everywhere are valued and encouraged, because you have no idea how valuable a substitute teacher is, especially on a last minute basis. So anyway, working on that, and also had a planning committee meeting with our absentee task force as to what we're going to work on this coming Friday. And all of these things are hinging on the fact that reports have got to be in by September for the September Leg Days to be able to present to the legislature. And so there's a lot of hard work that goes on, mental work that goes on to get these things together. Then last week, I also got to take a tour of the Child Welfare Facility, Department of Human Services out here on 3rd Street, to see just exactly who and what and why and how they operate, and ask questions, because I've had several constituent issues revolving around children in protective custody and in foster care. And so being able to talk to the people at DHS to better understand their challenges and their perceptions and what they need to be providing for the public was a really good couple of hours spent learning. So I really appreciate their doing that, and I want to thank them for opening their building to myself and Representative Javity. On Saturday, got to do a really fun thing, and that was a Tillamook Taste Bud experience. So went out to the factory with my kids, and I don't know, maybe there were 25 people in the group. We went to the Red Barn, and we learned all about how ice cream is made and the impact that ice cream has on our economy. And then, of course, the best thing was eating all different kinds of ice cream. And so that was a wonderful experience. I have spent a lot of time with constituent issues this week regarding law enforcement and homelessness, and questions about our ballot, especially questions regarding the fire district. And remember that the fire district levy that's on the ballot is for the fire district. And if you live in Manzanita, you're probably not worried about what's happening to Tillamook's fire district. So don't worry that it isn't on your ballot, because it is not something that you will have to make a decision on. Last Tuesday, Commissioner Olson convened the Tillamook County Water Wastewater Utilities discussion, and I had no idea how many people would be there, but the room was basically full. And there are a lot of issues that really need to be addressed when we're talking about our water and our wastewater in our districts, our small districts and our large districts. And there were some people that weren't there that I wished would have been there to be able to weigh in. But I know that Commissioner Olson is going to continue to convene this and work towards it in the time that he's in office. And I just want him to know how appreciated that was, because everywhere we go, the discussion is infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. If we don't have water and sewer, we can't continue to develop. We can't continue to sustain life here. So we need to make sure that we are taking special note of all of these people who are making sure that our water systems are secure and safe, and our sewer systems are doing their job. I learned a lot, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. This week, today, in fact, I'm going on a tour with the Water Caucus to Clean Water Services at the Rock Creek Reservoir and Resource and Recovery Facility. And so I'll be learning some more about water today. So if I have any great tips, I'll be sure to let you know. I'm also having a discussion later on this week concerning cell service in different areas and how it's impacting people with their insurance rates. Because some people, because of their insurance rates, have to put a little monitor in their car to prove how much they do or don't drive. And that's become very troublesome in this area, because you can't depend on the service to be able to record on that device how far you're going or how far you're not going, and it could impact your insurance rates. And so looking into that, and I want to continue to encourage our broadband folks to keep up the good work, because if it's going to be impacting people's car insurance, it's something we need to be cognizant of and taking care of. And so thank you very much for the opportunity this morning to chat with you. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Senator. Do we have any questions for Senator Weber? I appreciate your report about the economic summit. We were sorry to miss it, but we had a budget committee meeting on the same day. And our board meeting, so we couldn't attend, but it sounds like it was great. And I look forward to, I look forward to reading about it, because I imagine it'll be in your newsletter, which is excellent, by the way. And also, was it recorded? You're welcome. Was it recorded? Can people watch the recordings of that? Do you know?
I'll check.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
that it was recorded, but I am not certain. So
Okay.
I'll let you know.
All right, thank you. And I wanted to just continue the conversation you just started about the water meeting that Commissioner Olson convened. I was there also, and I thought it was outstanding. I was really pleased at how many people showed up and the quality of the conversation and the willingness to dig in and consider not only what are the issues, but what are potential solutions. And I'm just really grateful to Doug for convening that group. And I was very pleased that you were there. So thank you for attending. And I look forward to what comes out of that, because I think there will be further action and activity. And, sometimes it's just the timing is right for people to come together and work together and consider new solutions. So I hope that timing is now, but I'm glad that we're talking about it. So thanks for bringing that up.
And we turn on the water and we take it for granted.
Truly.
And then when we get the bill, we don't want it to be too high. But we need to be realistic about how much this service is actually costing us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, a lot of work has to be done around that, because some of the water rates, we complain about things, but is it realistic how much money we are paying? Do we need to be paying more to be able to make sure that this is a secure system that's going to sustain us?
Yes. Yeah. And if it's always been undercharged, because it seems to me like one of the things that I was gleaning from that meeting is the hesitancy to charge people what it's actually going to cost to budget in for infrastructure upgrades. You know, that no water system wants to gouge their customers. And in fact, most of them are not charging what it actually costs. So I think it's a bigger conversation because people have gotten used to paying less than what it actually costs.
Yes, I agree. Yes, thank you for adding that.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your report. As always, I always look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Do we have Representative Javity with us this morning?
I am here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here. Happy belated Mother's Day to all of our mothers out there. Hopefully it was wonderful. We had all the kids over at our place and barbecued. The weather was amazing. We went to the park. My wife opened gifts. It was a great Mother's Day. We're lucky to have such good weather. And we're still living in the afterglow. She reminds us daily that it really still should be Mother's Day for a few days afterwards too. So that fun continues. Let's see here. But in political news, ODF this week announced, or not this week, but recently we had a couple of board members resign. And there was a proposal last week with a couple of names to fill those slots. Apparently that's been scuttled. I don't know. I haven't seen in the news or heard from the governor's office that 2 new ones have been appointed. Whoever is appointed would be confirmed at the end of this month when the Senate meets for legislative days. And so I'll try to keep you abreast of that. But that, of course, could make an impact on future issues that affect our forests here in Tillotson and Clatsop County, including the HCP. Other news, we've got a new ODFW director, Debbie Colbert. I'm not sure how you say her last name, but that was a great win for people who wanted to have somebody at the top of ODFW who would be balanced between conservation as well as making sure that our fisheries and hunting and the rest of the issues that are managed by ODFW would continue to be robust and available, and we could tackle some of those issues that continue to frustrate people who like to, hunt and fish and feel like that we could be doing things differently. I was, as Senator Weber mentioned, she and I met with Child Welfare last week down here on 3rd Street. Great facility. It was wonderful to hear about the state of child I'd say child welfare twice, but what's happening to make sure children are safe, what they're doing to help families reunite. I like the direction that they're going in. They definitely have got lots of data. They were really excited about some of the new data they're able to collect and how it's helping them make more informed, family-friendly decisions and making sure our children stay safe. So fantastic to see that, and we should feel lucky to have the people in charge over at the agency here in town that we do. I feel like they're doing a great job. That was good to meet with them. Last week also met with some constituents from Pacific City, hoping to build some structure. I'm not at what's the word? I'm not at liberty to say exactly what, but they're trying. There's some issues with the way the state, the county, and the feds are controlling what can get built around the airport down there, and so they're hoping that we can get some resolution from the state to change that airport zoning issue. The county actually is in the most flexible, and if we can just get the state and the feds to align with the county, we'll be in a good spot. So there'll be some discussions coming. I plan on reaching out to the Friends of the Pacific City Airport and talking with them about some of these issues as well. But that if you've never been down there, it's kind of, I think most of us have, but if you haven't, it's a really cool airport right there next to the ocean, and really short airstrip. It's a place where people with smaller airplanes like to fly into and get a cup of coffee or get a bite to eat. And it's lined on both sides of the runway by people's homes and their hangars. And people will plan a day trip just to fly down there. And the people around that, the homeowners and the Friends of Pacific City have done a great job maintaining that and making sure it's a great place for aviation enthusiasts to visit. Also, the Coast Guard uses it too. So there's also a strategic component too as well in the event of flooding or a natural disaster. So something that we definitely want to keep focused on and make sure is a resource that we can continue to have in the southern part of our county and district. Tonight, I'll be attending a Prescription Drug Affordability Board online public forum. It's planning to be about 2 hours. Anybody who's been to the pharmacy knows how outrageous prescription drugs can be. Last week, my wife was in line and heard, several people in front of her spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars on a prescription drug that they absolutely need. So, this is, especially with our baby boomer population, which is, just the largest group of seniors that we've ever had, to really feel, pressure and the burden of paying for these drugs. And so I'm hoping tonight we can get some more clarity on what some potential solutions are so we can address that. I'll also have a meeting later this week with some experts on our energy crisis, specifically why the cost of electrical energy continues to go up, putting more pressure again on families. The thing about our electrical energy costs, they never seem to go down. They continue to climb. And so the cost of heating our homes or cooling them in the summer always is going up versus our fuel costs, which right now, of course, everyone's feeling the pain at the pump, but those tend to ebb and flow with the demand through the summer and the winter, and so we'll see dips. But if we don't get our electrical power costs under control, it's going to become much more difficult for people, especially on fixed incomes, to really budget for that and have the energy they need to live in their homes. So looking forward to that discussion, and maybe some policy ideas will come out of that we can talk about in the upcoming session in 2025, which leads me to my final reminder. Don't forget, next week is your opportunity to participate in this great thing we call democracy by voting. This is the primary election for the state of Oregon for statewide offices, as well as other offices like county offices. If there's not a clear winner at the county level, and I'll let the county, you guys know your races better than I do. Oh, excuse me. But back to what I was talking about. Yeah, next week, make sure you get your ballots in. And remember, if you are already registered with the party, you're only going to see candidates for that party, unless it's a nonpartisan position like county commissioner or judges. So if you don't see your favorite candidate on there, never fear, you will have another opportunity in the general election when you can vote for any candidate running for any office, unless that is so local, like a local board position that it's not in your district. But anyway, don't forget yet, vote. If you haven't got your ballot, contact the county clerk's office, check your address on My Vote with the Secretary of State, and good luck to all the candidates running. I know it's a fun experience to do the campaign, but it's also very stressful. And if you know anybody who is running, give them a hug or a high five and tell them that you appreciate all that they're doing for you. And I'm sure it's stressful, but we're almost there, team. And with that, I don't have anything else to report on.
Thank you so much, Representative. Do we have questions for Representative Javidi?
Madam Chair, I don't have a question, but I did want to just comment, really thank Representative Javidi for jumping in on the airport conversation around Pacific City. As many of you know, I am the liaison to the Community Development Department, and Sarah and I have been looking at that, working with that, struggling with that, and reached out specifically to Representative Javidi to see if we could get some help, because we were just getting a zero response at the state level to the desire to work with this property owner who owns property property there who really wants to be able to develop, and the county was willing to work with this property owner. And the answer from the airport was, if you build it, we will close the airport. So, and no conversation, no willingness to sit down at a table and help us all understand how to potentially get to yes for this property owner. So I just really want to thank Representative Javity for jumping into that conversation and helping us navigate with a state agency. That is one of the things that our state representatives are just exceptionally helpful in. So thank you, Representative, for that. I also wanted to second his comment about Debbie Colbert being selected to ODFW. That is an important selection for our county, not only for hunters and fishers, but in recognition of the economics that come to our county from our recreational fishing industry. So important stuff. So that was a good selection. And we are all watching the ODF board. So thank you for that heads up as well. There is an article from OPB out there on the web if you want to know more about what was behind the polling back of the candidates for the Oregon Department of Forestry board. It is a really important board for us as well. So you can keep your eyes on that, follow that. So thank you, Representative Javity.
You are welcome. You guys have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Suzanne, can I interject one thing, please?
Please do.
I forgot to say something.
Please do, Senator.
Okay, ODOT is coming to town. They are taking a road trip, and they are going to 12 different places to talk about the challenges of our roads. And they are going to be in Tillamook on June 18th. The time and the location has not been determined yet, but if you would like to have anything to say specifically to ODOT, June 18th is going to be the time when you have that floor. And I'm sorry I forgot to say it before.
Hey, Senator Weber, before I forget too, there is some discussion about putting a cell tower up on Highway 6, and I think the community ought to know that that's more than just a random idea. That looks like it may be an eventuality here soon.
Yes.
If you have any
We'll be
thoughts and you
talking
want to
about
weigh
that.
in on that.
Yes, we'll be talking about that with all of the parties on the 24th, I believe,
next
to
week.
see if we can iron out some of the difficulties surrounding it. I want to give a shout out to former Senator Johnson, because she has been like a dog with a bone on this one also. And so she, I believe, is going to be able to help us to get to yes on this. So thank you, Senator Johnson, and we'll have more information for you all after the meeting on the 24th.
Well, thank you. So the cell tower that you're talking about, is that on state property, on state forest property?
Yes, yes.
Terrific. Well, that's fabulous news. And also the county has been negotiating leases with Verizon for cell towers on county property. So I think there are going to be multiple cell towers, hopefully. Please, to my colleagues, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there are going to be multiple cell towers on Highway 6, which will be amazing for, as all locals know, that long stretch of highway, dangerous highway, where there's no service.
Agree.
Commissioner, this is Commissioner Olson. Could I add to that?
Oh, please do.
Yes, both of you, or all of you, are absolutely correct. And we talked about this at a CAC meeting last Saturday. The county has approved a lease with Verizon of some land it owns, just a small footprint, like 10 by 10. My understanding is there'll be as many as 9 towers going from the east side of Tillamook on up over the hill and down into Washington County a bit. And the way the tower business works these days, it's typically done by one carrier or a separate company, and then they lease space to the other carriers like Verizon, Consumer Cellular, AT&T, and the others. When you travel Highway 6, you'll see the colored conduit coming out of the ground every couple of miles. That is fiber that is going all the way from Camp Wainema into Tillamook and then up over the hill. And that will be both internet and the ability to do cell service as well. Some of the towers might require commercial power. Others would operate on a battery arrangement, much like we do across the county for radios. But we're well on the way to doing that, and there are a lot of moving parts. There's the cell companies, the tower companies, Astound and their contractors, Amazon, and probably a couple of others, as well as the Department of Forestry and the county and ODOT. So to get all those people on the same page at the same time is a bit of a task, but it is happening and it will be done. Don't have a date for sure, but stay tuned, because eventually you'll be able to talk or whatever it is you want to do all the way into the valley. So good things to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you. And I wanted to just add to Representative Javity's message to everyone to please vote, just because it's so important. So thank you, Representative, for bringing that up. It's the election is May 21st, and we're encouraging everyone to use your voice, use your power to participate in democracy by voting. I think a lot of people have strong feelings about things that are happening, and voting is your opportunity to participate. So please vote. And I wanted to answer a question that I got from a community member recently about the difference about the primary, about the May election. They wanted to know specifically why in the commissioner's race, the seat that's held by Doug Olson, they wanted to know why Doug wasn't running, which I'll let him answer, and why the seat that's held by Doug Olson, why Doug will be in office through 2024. So I answered that in this election, there are two people running for that seat. And so the race will be decided. However, the office is held through 2024. So there are two candidates for Commissioner Olson's position, and one of the two will get 50% plus one. And so in the May primary, so that election will be decided. However, the winner won't take the seat, won't be sworn in until January 1st of 2025. And they wanted to know, well, then how does that apply to Commissioner Scarr's seat? And Commissioner Scarr's up for re-election, and there are three candidates in that race. So if one of them gets 50% plus one, then that will be decided. And if none of them gets 50% plus one, then the top two go on to the general election in November. So I received that question in the community, and I just wanted to answer it on this call. Anybody else want to jump in and talk about the election?
Well, Commissioner, would you like me to tell you why I'm not running?
Well, yes, because everyone wants to know.
The reason is it's time to retire. And like Commissioner Yamamoto said, sometimes you know when it's time. I've been elected, I think, 7 times to public office in Tillamook County, going back 20-some years into the water and sewer boards, and then at JWSA in Pacific City, and 4 times to the Tillamook PUD board. And so at some point you have to say, quit while you're ahead, while you're reasonably healthy, you have a couple of bucks in your pocket, and let others come along. We've got lots of talented people in Tillamook County. Somebody will fill this seat and fill others, and it's nice to step aside when you can do it. I really don't want to be on what I call the Hoff list, which is the hauled off feet first. I think you need to know when it's time and let others step in. So it's really not complicated at all. Enough is enough. And while I love what I do, and I think I've contributed something over the years, you also need to know when it's time to step aside and let others come in. So that's about as simple as I can make it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That is a great explanation. It is our pleasure to work with you. You're doing such a great job. And the Hoff list kind of cracks me up. That's the first time I've heard that, hauled off feet first. Thank you. Okay, well, if we're ready to move on from the Coastal Caucus, let's move into the Tillamook County Community Health Center.
Is it the Health Department, Commissioners?
Good morning, Ed.
Good morning and good morning, Tillamook County. Well, National Women's Health Week starts beginning on Mother's Day. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office on Women's Health leads National Women's Health Week. This year, National Women's Health Week is May 12th through the 18th. This observance aims to highlight women's health issues and encourage women of all ages to prioritize their physical, mental, and emotional well-being. We want to encourage women of all ages to schedule routine medical and dental exams, routine preventative medical care, including staying up to date on recommended screenings and vaccines, can help you stay well and catch problems early, helping you live a longer, healthier life. And for those who may not have heard, the latest CDC breast cancer screening recommendation is that all women ages 40 to 74 get a mammogram every 2 years. The new recommendation is that women begin regular mammograms at age 40 instead of 50. And then we want everyone to join us in extending the celebration of the recent Mental Health Provider Appreciation Day, and that was Sunday, May 12th. We honor the incredible value mental health providers bring to our community. Their tireless efforts and wealth of resources improve lives, including those navigating the complexities of reproductive mental health. And lastly, Memorial Day is coming up on Monday, May 27th. Tillamook County Community Health Center clinics and offices will be closed that day in observance of the holiday honoring the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. And that is our update, and we'll turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. Do we have any questions for Ed? Ed, I appreciate you mentioning Women's Health, National Women's Health Week. I didn't know, there are a lot of weeks, like assigned weeks of recognition, and I didn't know that we're now in National Women's Health Week. But I very much appreciate you mentioning that there are new guidelines to encouraging women to get mammograms starting at age 40, because as you may or may not know, I'm a breast cancer survivor. And I have met a lot of women who were diagnosed with breast cancer in their 40s. However, previously, the guideline was that people should start getting mammograms in their 50s. And so I'm very glad to hear that the guidelines have been changed to encourage women to start getting mammograms in their 40s. And now with the technology that they have now, like including here at Adventist Health Tillamook, there's 3D mammography. So when they take a mammogram, it actually, because of the 3D technology, it actually takes hundreds of pictures, and then the computer will scan, in addition to the radiologist, of course, but the computer will scan all those pictures looking for any anomalies. And then if a woman gets the mammogram every year, they also look to see if anything has changed. So that's invaluable, because if you could have something on your scan that looks abnormal, that isn't necessarily, but they'll know if you do it regularly, then they compare to previous mammography and look and see if anything's changed. So that's essential. So with that, they can find things very tiny, microscopic, very, very early, and it dramatically increases people's chances for survival. So I encourage women who are 40 and over to get an annual mammogram, schedule it today, and just take care of that preventative measure. 1 in 8 American women will experience breast cancer in her lifetime. So thank you for bringing that up, Ed. If we have nothing more for Ed, we can move on to Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. Gail, are you with us this morning? Waiting for Gail to unmute.
I think Gail let us know she would not be able to be here this morning.
Oh, shoot, I didn't get that. So thank you. It was a pleasure for me to see Gail last week on Friday, I think, at NCRD. Gail came and joined the community for the suicide prevention awareness event at NCRD, and it was delightful to see her there. So that being the case, let's move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Frank Hannah Williams, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Frank Hannah Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center, Behavioral Health Services for Tillamook County residents. If you have questions regarding appointments, information about services, you can reach us at 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. I know that there are some questions in the community regarding the opening of Turnstone Commons, formerly the Kilchis House. And what I'm prepared to tell you today is that it is the week, the 29th, Wednesday the 29th, the waiting list for applications for Turnstone Commons will be officially open. So I can give you that information this morning, and it will be again, it will be on the 29th. Please make note that other information regarding this will be posted on our website between now and that period, and that time. So we'll be able to see more information as it gets posted to the site. Information regarding rental criteria, income limits, rental amounts, and as I've spoken about this before, information regarding the qualifying diagnoses. So I'm wanting to share that information today. That the waiting list will begin to be open, and that will be a time for applications. Again, that is a review time and information that people will need to have available for the application. All that information will be available to you on the website. And that is www.tfcc.org. I hate to say it, but if you have questions, you can call, knowing that there may be many, but I don't have control over that. If you have some additional questions, 503-842-8201, and we can try to get you to the answer to the question that you may have. So I'm giving that information this morning, and need I say, if you have any additional questions, I'm here and you can ask them.
Thank you so much, Frank. That's really an exciting announcement. I appreciate you being willing to share it with us this morning, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are eagerly awaiting being able to get on that wait list. So thank you for talking about that. Do we have any questions for Frank? Well, before we let you go, I also want to thank you for being at the event that I mentioned a few minutes ago, the suicide awareness prevention event at NCRD last week. It was great to have you there and folks from your agency, and I thought there were a number of resource tables and information and a nice meal, and I just thought it was really well done, and I was grateful you were there. So thank you.
Yes, it was. I appreciate that, and it was nice to have you be there as well. And again, that is often a kind of a challenging topic, and I think that there are a number of people there who were able to talk about that in very, very positive and supportive ways, and support the notion that people can get supported and move forward, even though they've been involved in a difficult situation, and it was nice to see the turnout there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brown, are you with us?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Good morning, we can.
Good morning. The only thing I've got is just a reminder that our search and rescue banquet and auction is coming up this Saturday. Tickets are still available. You can buy them online at events or event.gives/search2024. or you can purchase them at the office. We do have a few hard copy tickets here. During normal business hours, they can be purchased. We've got well over 100 donated items, which is quite a bit more than we had last year. We're going to have some door prizes and a special gift for all attendees. So it's really, really going to be a good time. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, I encourage you to do so. And hopefully we'll see everybody Saturday. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff. I attended that event last year as a volunteer, and it was just outstanding. It was a lot of fun, great crowd. It was just a really wonderful event, and certainly a good cause for our fabulous search and rescue team. So I encourage everyone to get a ticket and come out to that event. Are you also doing the auction online for folks who can't go? Can they participate in the auction anyway?
Yes, the silent auction is online. The live auction, you have to be there in person, but we've got almost 70 items on the silent auction alone, and it is open for bidding now. We opened it yesterday at 4 p.m. It will close the night of the event, so next Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Terrific. Thank you. And
bet.
I wanted to recognize that this is National Police Week. And so I want to just say that how grateful I am, and I think we all are, for law enforcement in our community. You all do an amazing job, and it's a difficult job. It's a stressful job. It very often involves things that are emotionally difficult to process. It involves a lot of overtime. A lot of stress that the average person doesn't experience in their job, or, in many cases may not even know about. So I just want to say publicly how grateful we are for your work and that of your team. Thank you.
Well, my team would definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we don't have a report for emergency management because Randy Thorpe is traveling this morning to Lincoln County. So we'll jump right into the Board of Commissioners report and start with Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Thank you. Okay, this morning, I just want to remind everyone that we had a budget committee meeting last week and that we will have our final budget committee meeting on May the 22nd. Treasurer Blanchard's not able to join us to speak this morning, but just wanted to have me remind everyone that there will be a balanced budget at the end of the process, as well as letting everyone know that the budget will be posted online no later than the 16th. So if you're following this process and want to just see how it is that we've managed to balance the budget, coming down from the original $4.4 million deficit ask, all of that will be available online. So thank you, Treasurer Blanchard, for that information. Also wanted to let folks know we had the Solid Waste Service District Budget Committee meeting last week on Friday, and we were able to, we started actually with a balanced budget with them, and we're able to go through a really great description of the budget. We have a new director in our Solid Waste District, Justin Weiss, and he did a fabulous job of walking us through that budget, really explaining the ins and outs of our solid waste budget. It is interesting because it is an enterprise style fund, so our solid waste program is driven by the funds it receives for the trash we receive. So it has to balance. We have to estimate how much garbage we think we will bring in, charge appropriately for the disposal of that, so that we are able to turn around and pay for the haulers that haul it, both to our transfer stations as well as out to the landfill at Coffin Butte. So it is an interesting and challenging budget, as all are when you're making those estimations, and he did a great job. So thank you for that, Justin. We appreciate that. It is budget season. As I've talked about before, I sit on the Salmonberry Trail Intergovernmental Agency, as well as the Salmonberry Trail Foundation. We've been working really hard on bringing in funding to begin the construction of that trail. There's lots of good work being done. If you're interested and would like to just listen in on the next meeting, we do have a Salmonberry Trail Intergovernmental Agency meeting coming up this Thursday, the 16th. The meeting itself will be held in Banks at the Hornshoe Fire Station. There will also be a remote option to listen in on the YouTube channel from the Department of Forestry if you're unable to join us but would like to be a part of and listen to what those conversations are at STIA. There's also a hike on the trail that morning, also leaving from the fire station. The hike actually begins at 10, so it is earlier than the meeting itself. So there's a couple ways to participate if you're interested in just kind of catching up on what's happening with the Salmonberry Trail. The other thing I wanted to call out is this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I know Frank talked about that briefly, but I wanted to share from the Suicide Prevention Coalition that this Thursday is Mental Health Action Day, and it will be Wear Green Day in Tillamook County. They are inviting everyone to wear green, take a picture of yourself in your green, and post it on social media using the hashtag #WearGreenTillamook. So just encouraging everyone to show your support for those who are living with mental illness. And then, of course, they have their Hope Fest, which Commissioner Bell and Frank talked about in North County in the last couple of weeks. And they are having a Hope Fest here at Tillamook Bay Community College on May 17th from 3 to 8. And the first 50 people to RSVP will get dinner provided at the event by the Garibaldi Portside Bistro, which is a fabulous restaurant. If you haven't eaten their food, it's well worth it. But you do have to RSVP for that. And then there will be resource tables, a QPR gatekeeper training, and that QPR is question, persuade, refer. Great training. I just really encourage everyone in the community to get that training. So if you do want to register, you can register via email at tcspinfo@gmail.com. So I just wanted to highlight that for everyone. The last thing I want to talk about is just a fun thing that I was able to do over the weekend, and that was to attend the YMCA's Dueling Pianos fundraising event. It was really fun. So if you've never been to a Dueling Pianos event, which I had not, there are two amazing and fun musicians facing each other on stage on their pianos. And just from the audience, you can pay, of course, because it was a fundraiser, to have a song that you would like to hear. And as they do that, they will pull out the refrain or other phrases that we all know and invite the crowd to sing along. So it was just a really good time. They are planning to do this event again next year in early April. So I wanted to highlight it for you now so you could put it on your calendar to look for those tickets, because it was a super fun event. With that, I will turn it back to you, Commissioner Bell.
Thank you very much. And Commissioner Olson.
Okay, thank you. I'll add to a few things that were said earlier. There was a Citizens Advisory Committee last Saturday in Pacific City, and a pretty good turnout. We hold those meetings quarterly, and I think there's a very active group in Neskowin as well, and Oceanside and up north. The one in Pacific City had about 35 or 40 people and talked about a wide variety of subjects, but the main subject that went on into a meeting following was short-term rentals. So that issue is still before the commission and still being talked at, because it becomes very personal. If you live next to one, it's personal. If you own one, it's personal. And so lots more to come on that particular topic over the coming months and years. Mention was made earlier about a utility meeting that I had convened last week, and I was not surprised by the turnout, but it was really pretty good. I think there were 17 online plus a full room. So I've started to make some contacts and going to go to a few of the meetings and see if there's ways that we can share some of the burden, meaning equipment and what needs to be done. Part of the problem, just take a moment, is we have a lot of small utilities that have fewer than a couple of hundred ratepayers. And when that's the case, even if you pay $100 a month for water and sewer, which is quite a bit for a lot of people, that doesn't generate enough cash to even hire a full-time staff person, let alone pay for any capital needs or heavy equipment like backhoes and all. So it's an ongoing problem, and as was mentioned, we do need to keep the water running, and the wastewater needs to be treated and all those sorts of things. And I can tell you the state of Oregon doesn't much care if you're a tiny little utility or if you're the city of Portland, although the city of Portland manages to get away with putting all kinds of stuff in the Willamette River, but that's another subject. So I'll go on to the next one. As mentioned, we do have a budget meeting coming up, and we will balance the budget. We're less than $1 million apart now. In fact, just a few $100,000. So I'm sure we can do that. I'm also planning as the chair of that committee. We're going to take some time at that meeting and talk a little bit more about some of the longer range issues. As we've talked on this program many times, the landscape is changing quite literally with the harvest of trees in our Tillamook forest. And also other sources of funding are changing or not as dependable as they used to be. And of course, the costs are not getting any less. Things are going up, and the county suffers from inflation impact, just like all of us do personally. So we'll take an hour or two with all the budget committee in the room and talk about some of the longer range aspects on what can be done and maybe what shouldn't be done. A couple of other things quickly. I've been following the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, which is a federal agency. I think they're part of the Department of Interior, and there's a couple of things coming up. As some of you may know, they're accepting bids for wind generation off the Oregon coast in the southern Oregon area, primarily off Coos County and Curry County, clear at the southern end, almost at the California border, but it comes clear up to Reedsport, which isn't all that far away from Tillamook County. So there's a meeting in Newport, which I will attend. I think it's in early June, and then also an online meeting here in a couple of weeks. So they're keeping the activity up, and when they call these meetings, they've received a lot of pushback, but it doesn't seem to have had much effect because they go right ahead and do what they're going to do. And it may be a good thing, but it also has a lot of downsides. So a lot more to come on that one, but I guess the message is today, your county commission is paying attention to this, and we're not going to be left in the dark. We will have a seat at the table. Whether it will do any good, that's another question. Mention was made of our airport in Pacific City. I'm quite familiar with that too. I can actually see the planes come and go out my front window. So I've been involved with that off and on, and the people who are known as Friends of the Airport. And what was said earlier is absolutely true. The state of Oregon, and this is there's an aviation department at the state, and this is a state airport. They don't always return calls or show up or speak when spoken to or anything else. And so to the extent we can apply pressure on the state to respond, right now I can tell you the grass is about a foot high and it needs to be mowed, and the state does that. But to get them to come over and do what they're supposed to do or should do or we think they should do are two different things. So I do appreciate the group that's keeping the pressure on them, and eventually I think they will respond, but it's a bit of a struggle. And finally, I'll say our Fair Board meets tonight, and a number of issues that come along just routine for the most part. But I guess I'd remind everyone listening, the fair is only 3 months away. That isn't very long. And of course, if you've never been to the Tillamook County Fair, you're in for a treat. And this is among the finest fairs in all of America. And I say that with some backing because some years ago, I think it was USA Today, the national newspaper, did a survey of all the fairs, not just the little ones, but all of them. And in the top 10 was Tillamook County. And that's comparing it with the big ones in America, including the Iowa State Fair, the Ohio State Fair, a number of others, I think, down in Texas and elsewhere. And we were in the top 10, our little teeny fair here. So if you've never been to the fair, you need to mark off the second week of August. Go every day. It's only 4 days. And you will see one of the finest fairs in all of America. So with that, Commissioner, I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree completely about the fair. I was talking to our new parks director. We have a new parks director. You've been hearing me talk about being interim parks director since October. We have a new parks director. This is his second week. Yesterday, Doug checked in with me and said, did he come back for his second week? And he did, thank goodness. He's fabulous. His name is Dan Keyes, and I will invite him to be on this show with us again in the near future. Maybe he can join us next week. Introduce himself to the community. He's jumped into the deep end. All signs are good. I think we're just going to be so grateful to work with him. It seems great. So I talked to him yesterday about the Tillamook County Fair because the Parks Department is going to have a booth at the fair this year. And so it was just my pleasure to be able to tell somebody from out of town, because he and his wife moved here from South Dakota, to be able to tell somebody about our fabulous fair and how extraordinary it really is. And, you know, maybe every community feels that way about their fairs, but theirs are not as good as ours. So it's really, it's fun to talk about and tell people about and imagine somebody experiencing for the first time. And I was describing to him how it's like the, you know, the gathering place or the living room of the community, that businesses close down and people take their vacations that week, and dozens of people volunteer and everybody's there. And like you said, Doug, they're there every day, and people catch up who haven't seen each other, you know, at other times. They look forward to seeing each other, and there are booths that you really look forward to going back to every year. And it really is a beautiful community building event. And of course, you know, all the things, like some people come just for horse racing, and some people come for the junior livestock auction, and other people's for pig and ford and or the demolition derby. You know, everybody has their favorite things, but altogether it is just outstanding. So I'm excited about the fair this year. I will jump in and talk again for a minute about parks, where we are getting ready for the local camping weekend. So if you don't know, Tillamook County residents have the opportunity to camp for free the first weekend in June of every year. So this year that begins actually on May 31st. So it's May 31st to June 2nd. If you are a Tillamook County resident, you can camp in our parks for free. And Tillamook County has 6 campgrounds. Not everybody knows that. Lots of people know about Barview because it's the biggest by far. But we have Barview, Trask River, Kilchis River, Webb, which is in Pacific City, Woods, which is in Pacific City, and Whalen Island, which is a gorgeous little gem down by Sand Lake. So if you're interested, if you live here and you have some kind of ID to prove that you live here and you'd like to camp on the first weekend in June, May 31st to June 2nd, you can get online and make a reservation, or just come down to Barview and in person and at the booth and make a reservation that way. So I have already talked plenty this morning. So with that, I am just going to jump to the cities. Do we have Mayor Stock on from the city of Manzanita?
Good morning. Yes,
Well,
I'm here.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Just a couple of updates and shout outs from Manzanita this morning. We had a really solid council meeting last Wednesday of last week, and after many months and many months of deliberation and discussion, we did have the second reading and passed our new dark sky ordinance, which will go into effect in June here in Manzanita. We are eagerly anticipating the 4th of July parade here, which will be held on the 4th of July. It's funny how often that question gets asked, what day are you going to have your parade? The theme this year is Soar Force, ! So we're ready for that, and volunteers have been working hard. If you'd like information about the parade and information about visiting Manzanita that day to enjoy this very family-friendly event, you can check out their website, which is visitmanzanita.org for more information. We're continuing our conversations with counselors with a focus on revenue diversification. We've had several really good conversations with groups of citizens over the last month or so. We've got 2 more left on May 22nd and 28th, and you can sign up for those on the city website. And this Thursday, we'll have our monthly Coffee with the City, which will be held locally here at 9 o'clock, and it's just a chance to sit down and talk about whatever it is you'd like to talk about with some combination of 2 usually city council members. That's it for Manzanita, and thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any questions for Mayor Stock? If not, let's move on to the city of Nehalem. Do we have anybody on from Nehalem? How about Wheeler? Rockaway Beach? How about the city of Garibaldi?
Good morning. This is
Good.
Leanne Welch, the interim city manager for the city of Garibaldi.
Good morning, Leanne.
Good morning. So the Garibaldi City Council has its regular city council meeting on Monday, May 20th at 6:30. And there'll be highlights, obviously, of all the things that we've been working on. The city is working with Visit Tillamook Coast, the Port of Garibaldi, and the Garibaldi Business Association for an Excuse Our Dust campaign for the upcoming ODOT construction project that will be through all of downtown Garibaldi. And then moving on to Bay City, put my mayor hat on. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we have our regular city council meeting, and Dr. Tyler Reed, the Neoconi superintendent, is giving us a presentation on their vision and strategic plan moving forward. And then the Bay City Public Works Department is hosting the National Public Works Week and hosting all the cities in Tillamook County Public Works team for just celebrating National Public Works Week. And, you know, the cities provide water, sewer, parks, and street services to our citizens in our cities. And it's just a way to say thank you to them for all the work that they do in supporting our cities and having good communities. And that's all I have, unless you have questions for Garibaldi or Bay City.
Thank you, Leanne. And I'd just like to thank you for all of your outstanding community service in Garibaldi and Bay City and on the Solid Waste Advisory Committee budget. Leanne joined us for the Solid Waste Budget Committee meeting, budget hearing, and did an outstanding job as the chair of that committee. And, you know, I think about folks I know who devote a lot of time and energy to public service, and you are high on that list and truly make a difference in many areas. And I wonder if you're busier now than you were before you retired.
Oh, yes, and I'm going to work on that, believe me. I love the Commissioner Olson, and yes, when it's time to go, it's time to go. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. The city, how about the city of Tillamook? Do we have Nathan George this morning?
Good morning, Commissioner. Yes, I do have a
Good
few
morning.
things. Thank you. Good morning. I wanted to say last week's celebration of Public Service Recognition Week was excellent. I'd like to thank all of our city employees that worked so hard to put this together. I'd also like to thank the County Sheriff's Office and Public Works Department, as well as many other public entities that participated in our annual Touch a Truck event last Tuesday. Thank you all very much. This type of participation and teamwork helps build our community and recognize those that work so hard to make it a great place. So we were fortunate to build this we've been doing that 4 years in a row now, Public Service Recognition Week, and I'm really excited that City of Bay City is doing the Public Works Recognition Week, which is the second full week of May. So that's wonderful. In our police department, we celebrated Public Service Recognition Week with our staff, the police department, all of Tillamook, and the police department also wanted to thank everyone who was a part of that in Team Tillamook. And Lieutenant Trox will attend the Fallen Officer Memorial at the Department of Public Safety Standards and Training. This memorial was well attended, and it was an honor to have Lieutenant Troxel represent the city of Tillamook at this event. All those who have fallen in line of duty are recognized annually. Officer Olson, our school resource officer, and Officer Sadler attended the Touch Truck event in front of City Hall, so we appreciate them being a part of that. From the police department, Lieutenant Troxel is continuing to work with community partners on the crisis intervention training for the entire county. And this past week, Lieutenant Troxel had a great meeting with Adventist Health about the next steps, so that's good. The Tillamook Police Department is proud to announce they have been trained on the new Taser 10s. All officers are now carrying new tasers. This is a huge benefit to our community as we work to keep everyone safe as possible. Lieutenant Troxel will attend the statewide House Bill 4002 implementation and training symposium. Grief, I'm sorry. Fred Canada Williams of the Tillamook Family Counseling Center, along with Sheriff Brown and Lieutenant Seaholm of the Sheriff's Office, also attended. And this past weekend was the Tillamook High School prom. The prom was well attended. Unfortunately, our school resource officer Olson was unable to attend and sad to miss it, but we're thankful Sergeant Hollis could attend in his place. And in the Public Works Department, the Streets Division will be sweeping streets and cleaning the bioswales downtown this week. Please be mindful of our staff and equipment. Our wastewater distribution, our water distribution service. Our water distribution service division will pull routine monthly water samples to ensure clean drinking water. And for those of you that don't know, that's something that's done on a routine basis throughout the city to make sure that we are continuing having safe, clean water. The wastewater treatment division will conduct a sewer mainline inspection between Laurel Avenue and Madrona Avenue on 8th Street this week. Please be mindful of vehicles, barricades, and equipment. And our Public Works crews operate from 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Please feel free to contact an on-call employee for emergency matters outside regular business hours by calling our main number, which is on the internet, on our website. Also, for any questions, non-urgent issues, or maintenance requests within the city limits, please email our Public Works Department at publicworks@tillamookor.gov. That's also found on our website. It's publicworks@tillamookor.gov. And also, even if you don't, for example, if you email in something you're not 100% sure, we'll get it to the right person. So if you see a problem with a street and you're like, I don't know if this is state or county or city, and it appears it might be city or close to, just go ahead and send it to us. We will get it to the right department and help distribute that. If it is us, we'll take care of it. If it belongs to the county and state, we'll send it over. The Public Works Department prioritizes addressing inquiries in order they're received, and your patience is appreciated as we strive to provide timely and efficient assistance. Thank you for your cooperation, understanding, and helping us maintain that well-being of our community. Just a reminder, citizens and residents are responsible to maintain their own private sewer ladder lines and fix them when problems occur. And there are several things that we have in place to help. If people would like to contact the city, we can provide more information. So we are working on getting those fixed over time. We're working with the citizens to have their private lines fixed over time. That's a huge contributor to the problems we have with wastewater, and fixing those helps mitigate and correct that problem. We have several Public Works technicians positions available in the city of Tillamook. We also look forward to when we will be posting positions of the police chief and the project manager/engineer positions. Please contact our website or visit City Hall for application. A reminder, as always, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies and dispatch for non-emergencies. And this next coming Monday, May 20th, will be our regular council meeting. It will also be our city's regular budget committee meeting and public hearing the same night, starting at 7 p.m. So we encourage anyone who's interested in local government or the budget or anything in between to attend virtually or in person. That's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Any questions for Nathan? If not, we'll say thanks to everyone for participating. Thanks to everyone for listening, and thank you so much to KTIL for broadcasting. This meeting is adjourned at 9:12 a.m.